Peoples of the worldwide federated internet. What's good? And today we are returning to the book of Exodus, chapter 5, picking up at verse 14. So without further ado, let's get into this. And the officers of the children of Israel, which Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten and demanded, "Wherefore have ye not fulfilled your task in making brick both yesterday and today as heretofore?" If you remember from the last video, Moses, Aaron, and the elders of Israel came and presented their case to Pharaoh, let them know what the message that God had sent them with to Pharaoh. Pharaoh wanted to hear none of it, and he put an even harder burden on the children of Israel to finish the construction projects that he put them on. And he actually put them at a disadvantage in making brick. He removed one of the key ingredients in making the brick, but he wanted them to maintain their output and even increase their output. So now obviously they can't do this. And while Moses, Aaron, and the elders were presenting their case before Pharaoh, the children of Israel kind of just decided they were going to stop. We're not doing it anymore. And I think part of the reason is they figured when Pharaoh heard the case of Moses, Aaron, and the elders, they figured it was going to be all over. They were going to be free right away. They didn't understand that that's not how it was going to work. I imagine some of them were probably discouraged. And also, this probably goes into their attitude going into the wilderness, right? They expect God to do something on a certain time, and when it doesn't happen, they get discouraged and go their own way. Sounds a lot like me. Then the officers of the children of Israel came and cried unto Pharaoh, saying, "Wherefore dealest thou thus with thy servants?" So they want to know what is going on. Why are you doing this to us? There is no straw given unto thy servants. And they say to us, "Make brick." And behold, thy servants are beaten, but the fault is not thine own people. They're like, "Yo, we don't even have the straw we need to make these bricks. And you beating us like we don't understand this. This is confusing. But had ye said, ye are idle, therefore ye say, let us go and to sacrifice to the Lord." So he's telling them, yo, you want to go sacrifice to your God. That means that you're idle, and I need to give you some more work. I need to make your task even harder. That was his stance. I would imagine that my kids would probably say, "Yeah, Dad, that kind of sounds like how you were." All right, it says, verse 18, "Go therefore now and work, for there shall no straw be given you. Ye shall, yet shall your deliver, yet shall ye deliver the table of bricks." So he's like, yeah, go ahead and keep working. You ain't getting no straw, but I want my bricks. You better have me my bricks. This is not looking good for them. Can you imagine what was going through some of these Hebrews' head? They're thinking they're going to be delivered, and the task just got harder. Verse 19, "And the officers of the children of Israel did see that they were in evil case, after it was said, Ye shall not minish aught from your bricks of your daily task." So they were like, this is not looking good, people. We don't have the straw. We don't have the materials that we had to produce the amount of brick we were set out to produce, and yet we're still held to this same standard and the same number of bricks output. How are we going to do this? Verse 20. And they met Moses and Aaron, who stood in the way, as they came forth from Pharaoh. And they said unto them, The Lord look upon you and judge, because ye have made our savor to be abhorred in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of his servants, to put a sword in their hand to slay us. So they're like, yo, whatever you said you were going to do, however this was supposed to go down, it's not going down that way. So you got some explaining to do, Moses. How are we supposed to see this? And Moses returned unto the Lord and said, Lord, wherefore hast thou so evil entered this people? Why is it that thou hast sent me? So Moses got some questions now, like, I didn't expect this to happen. And you notice before Moses got down to Egypt, God did tell Moses some things that was going to happen, but he didn't tell Moses everything. He didn't know everything. Moses didn't know that this was going to happen to the children of Israel. He didn't know that Pharaoh was going to put an even harder task on them. He was going to put the taskmasters on their backs heavy. So now Moses has questions. They're going to Moses and they have questions about what's going down. And Moses is going to God and he's like, God, I don't like what is happening. I don't know what to do here. For since I came to Pharaoh to speak in thy name, he hath done evil to this people, neither hast thou delivered thy people at all. If you've ever read through the book of Exodus, and you've ever really paid attention, there was a lot of telltale signs of Moses' imperfection. Now we know there's no Old Testament prophet, that was perfect. We know that none of the patriarchs of the Old Testament were perfect. David wasn't perfect. Solomon wasn't perfect. Esther wasn't perfect. Moses isn't perfect. Aaron isn't perfect. They all had their imperfections. And if you read carefully, you'll begin to see some of these imperfections play out. Moses was very doubtful, even in the face, looking back at the things God had already done, right? So think about this. Think about the decree that went out about boys that were born amongst the Hebrews when Moses was born. And I wonder if Moses ever put these two together. And I'm not saying that I would do any differently from Moses, because of course I have a historical view looking backwards. I can see what happened. I can see the whole story play out. So I'm at an advantage. So if I'm saying that to say, if I was him, I would have done the same thing. But now let's think about that, because we all do this. Moses was born. Male children were supposed to be killed. He wasn't killed. His mom put him in a river. He floated down. He's met by none other than Pharaoh's daughter. He's raised in Pharaoh's house. He's spared, raised in Pharaoh's house. Situation happened. He kills an Egyptian. Pharaoh finds out, seeks to kill Moses. Moses flees to Midian, meets this woman there, gets married, is taking care of business, taken care of. God meets Moses in this burning bush on Mount Sinai. Is like, let me highlight you, bro. Come over here. Let me talk to you. Gave Moses some instructions, said, this is what I want you to do. Go down here and do this. Now, if Moses was thinking at the time, he would have thought back at all of those things that happened in his life and said, you know what? I can definitely see where God has provided for me in many areas. I can definitely see where there were times where I really shouldn't even be alive right now, but God worked things out. So I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm just going to trust God to do whatever he does. And you see, even when you move forward from all of the miracles, parting the Red Sea, going over to the other side, and there were still people within amongst the Hebrews who doubted after seeing all of that, after being delivered. And even Moses, there was even times where Moses, and you can tell if you read the accounts, there's times where Moses both got frustrated and doubted. And if you were a rational person, just my thinking, a rational person that would see all these things done back to back in succession, at some point would have to break down and go, yo, all right, I can trust God. I don't know what's going on and I don't have all the details, but I can definitely trust God. Here's the kicker. We all make this same, well, I say we all, I can speak for myself. I make this same exact mistake and error. I can have things happen in succession. God could work out one thing after another thing, after another thing, after another thing. And then something will happen and I'll go to myself, man, I have no idea. Well, what am I going to do? And start flipping out internally. And then when things work out, I always think to myself, man, why didn't I just sit down, calm down, relax, and think, well, I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know what God is going to do. And I don't know where I'm going to be the next day from now. But the one thing I do know is God works things out however he see fit. And this has happened enough times, and I've seen this enough times to calm down, to relax, and not be frantic and not go crazy wondering how I'm gonna get out of this. Again, reading through that account is easy for any of us to look at Moses and be like, ah man, Moses is bugging. Well, newsflash, we bug out too. We do the exact same thing. Y'all know what it is. Stay frosty, people.